Bear is a comedy drama starring SNL's Kyle Mooney, and it tells the story of a guy called James who, after being discovered by the authorities, learns that he was kidnapped as a young kid and has been growing up the past 20 years or so on this weird kind of, TV show that his captor was making especially for him. And the film basically rolls around him and his journey to embracing, what it is that makes him and his love for movies and people around him, learning to embrace him for who he is. Yeah, this film was very different, and I didn't really know hardly anything about this movie going in. I knew it was about a guy in a bear suit, but that was about it, and I knew Mark Hamill was going to be in the movie, but I purposely stayed away from any trailers, so maybe I did see a trailer at some point, but I didn't really know anything about this movie going in, and I was actually really pleasantly surprised. I really enjoyed this movie. I can't say it was one of my favourites at the festival. It didn't blow me away. I don't think it was an absolutely spectacular movie, but at the same time, I really enjoyed this film for how different it was, and it didn't feel like anything else. It knew what it was, it knew what it wanted to be, and it really went for it. I mean, maybe it could have gone even further, but at the same time, I really liked how just funny and quirky and different this film was. But it was also very dramatic as well. This isn't as crazy and silly as I thought it was going to be. I thought it was just going to be a really wacky, weird, silly, insane comedy film. And it is a really funny comedy film, but it's also very dramatic at the same time. It's almost a comedy drama because, as I mentioned, it's about this guy who gets abducted and he doesn't know that he's been abducted, and then he's broken free from his captors, but at the same time he really liked what his life was like, and he misses this TV show that was made only for him, and now this TV show's gone. And what I really enjoyed about this movie is that it was a very different kind of take on the story of someone who's kidnapped and then he was broken free from his captors, but he's not kind of traumatized by what happened to him. He kind of misses it. He wants to go back to it, and through this kind of TV show that he was raised and grew up on, he's able to use that to help him get him through this. And even though at first all the people around him think he's weird and crazy and insane and trying to get this TV show out of his head, they soon come to realise that TV show is a massive part of who he is and a really big part of his life. That TV show is a part of him, and that you can't take that away from him. What I really liked about this film is that it was kind of a testament and a real tribute to the power of movies and television and how it can bring out the best in us. It was also about, the people around him and his family and his friends, accepting him for who he is in spite of his differences, and I think that was really great. It had a really kind of uplifting feel to it. It was a very kind of feel-good film because, like I said, it was kind of dealing with very kind of dark, sad kind of subject matter, but it was done in a very kind of quirky, funny, authentic way where it was uplifting and it was kind of a feel-good, kind of a funny film, and I really liked that. It was really different. I didn't really know what to expect going in, but I was really pleasantly surprised by this movie. And what I could really say to best describe the film, for me, it was almost like Elf meets Room. It sounds really weird, and it was like a lot of different films, but it was kind of like Elf with this kind of quirky comedy, like this guy who's kind of really out of place. It goes from one place to somewhere else, and he's like this complete fish out of water, and you get that kind of comedy with that. But it was also like Room, and like I said, he was like abducted as a kid, and then he breaks free, and then he's in the new world for the first time. It was like those two kind of mashed together. That sounds really weird and insane. It sounds like that would not work at all. Taking kind of the dark, really kind of sad, serious subject matter of like Room and combining that with the wacky kind of insane kind of funny kind of comedy of Elf, but it really was. It's not only when you think about it on reflection that you realise they managed to pull that off, because that could have been a real kind of tonal mishmash. It could have been all over the place, but it worked really well. They nailed the tone, they really went for it, and it really worked. And one of the best things about the film was performances. Everyone, but particularly Kyle Mooney, the main star of the film. I've never really seen him in anything else before this. I think he has a background in SNL and comedy, but oh my god, he was great. This was a really kind of like a kind of star-turn performance from him. It very much reminded me of, speaking of Elf, it very much reminded me of Will Ferrell, particularly Will Ferrell in Elf. It had that kind of, that wacky kind of eccentric, kind of a quirky, kind of a comedic nature to his performance, and I think he was really great, but the supporting cast were all really great as well. Mark Hamill even pops up in the supporting role, and I knew he was in the movie. He actually played a bit of a bigger part than I thought he was going to. He's not in the movie a whole lot, it's not in the entire film, but it's more than just a cameo. Like, I thought he might have just had a very small little bit part, but no, he does actually have quite a big role in the movie. And yeah, I think this was a very funny film, very quirky, very different. I actually really enjoyed it. A real kind of uplifting, quite inspirational film as well, particularly the message at the end of the movie and how it ends. I don't really have any major criticisms with this film, other than the fact that, you know, it didn't blow me away and knock my socks off, and I think they could have gone maybe even further with some of the elements that they explored. But I still, like, you know, really admire them for, you know, going in the direction that they did and going for that tone, and I think they really nailed it, and it did really work. I just feel like, you know, it could have been even more powerful, you know, if they went even stronger with certain elements. But on the most part, I really enjoyed this movie. I think it's going to be a film that I'm going to go back and rewatch. You know, it was very funny, very quirky, very different, but also very kind of real and authentic at the same time, and really great message there at the end about kind of loving someone in spite of their differences, and how kind of movies and the power of movies can really kind of bring us together and bring out the best in us. And I thought that was really great. So yeah, I really enjoyed Brigsby Bear, and overall I'm going to give it 4 stars. And there we have it, that was a review of Brigsby Bear. Have you seen the film yet? And if so, what do you think about it? Let me know in the comments down below. And as always, if you like this and haven't already, be sure to click subscribe to see more. And if you missed my last review, be sure to go ahead and click over here to catch up on my last review, or perhaps down here to catch up on another of my recent videos. But with that said, I've been David O'Sullivan. I'll see you next time.